Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast. We give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. I'm your host, Chris Boyle, best-selling author and owner of Y.E.S Fitness. Let me first thank you for taking time from your busy day to listen to what I have to say. Today is one of my favorite topics. But before we get started, let me also thank our sponsor, Y.E.S Fitness. Most people lose the ability to enjoy life as they age. At Y.E.S Fitness, we help people age 40 plus get fit so they can live longer and enjoy those extra years doing the things they love to do. So real quick housekeeping, if you'd like to get a timestamp or a transcript of today's broadcast, head on over to yesfitnessct.com. Across the top, you'll see a button for podcast. Click on that. It'll give you access to any one of our now 337 episodes. You can also get this podcast or get this broadcast wherever podcasts can be found. Boost your longevity with particular supplements. On the Functional Longevity Podcast, I have shared the importance of finding reliable supplements to support healthy aging. And there's quite a few that do that. And after researching for a reputable company I could trust and stand behind, I finally found Particular, a US-based brand that delivers on quality, science, and integrity. Three things that are very important to me. Particular offers a range of premium supplements, including NMN for cellular energy and aging support, resveratrol to enhance heart and brain health, berberine for blood sugar balance and metabolism, and many more. They're all crafted right here in the United States. I've been taking these products for a while now, and I've noticed a real difference in my energy, my focus, and some overall vitality. So if you're ready to invest in your health, visit Particular, that's PARTIQLAR.com, and use the code YES15 at checkout to get 15% off your first order. Your health deserves the best. Start your journey with Particular today. Unlock unstoppable strength. Train for longevity, power, and resilience. This topics I talk about all the time. This is a topic that I probably know most about. I'm not going to call myself an expert, but I know most about this. And then we're talking about one of my favorites, and one I think is super important in extending health span, and that would be strength training. How to train for lifelong strength, resilience, and performance. We're not just talking about strength training today, but we will be talking about strength training, but we're talking about training in general, all aspects of it. Now, I've been in the fitness game for over 30 years, and I've worked with thousands of clients navigating midlife and beyond. And I've also continued to learn through this process. I think it's important to continue to learn, and I've learned from some of the best in the business. Like, I don't know if you listen to Rhonda Patrick. Rhonda Patrick has an excellent podcast. And I've studied coaching underneath Mike Boyle, Alwyn Cosgrove, my mentor, and Lee Taft, someone I utilize for movement. And experts who just don't talk about theory. These guys talk about real people getting real results, and most importantly, helping people stay injury-free and thriving for the long haul. Because here's the deal. Most people train for the wrong reasons. They train to look good. They train to burn calories. And while sure, those things matter, if you're not training for longevity, for strength, for resilience, you're missing the point. So today, we're breaking down exactly how the top experts train themselves and their clients and how you can start training smarter today. Let's get right into this. Strength training is a non-negotiable foundation. If you take away anything from today's episode, let it be this. Muscle is the organ of longevity. Dr. Gabriel Lyon, one of the leading experts in muscle-centric medicine, says it's best. Says it like no one else. Muscle is not just about looking good. It's about metabolic health, injury prevention, and long-term vitality. Let's talk about science because we know we like to do everything based on science. So this is what the science tells us. After age 30, many of you already may know this, we start losing 3 to 8 pounds of our muscle mass per decade. If you don't do anything about it, 3 to 8% every decade. And the loss accelerates after 50, leading to frailty, falls, metabolic disease, and loss of independence. Something that I'm sure none of you want. Of course, here's the good news. Strength training stops this decline. And in many cases, it can even reverse it. You can put some more muscle mass on. And if you go to my website, you can see my clients. Do any of my clients, so a lot of women, 65, 75% female, do my clients look like they're putting a whole lot of muscle mass on their body? No, they're not big and bulky. They're just regular looking people with solid muscle mass because they do strength training. So what does expert back strength training look like? What does it look like to train how the experts say? So we want to train movement, not just muscles. Mike Boyle, a leader in functional training, emphasizes movement patterns, and that's the way the industry has gone. We talk more about squats, hip hinges, push, pulls, and carries. These are all patterns we use for real life. Forget about bicep curls, tricep push downs, all that stuff. You can do that later if you want, but you need to focus on things like goblet squats, deadlifts, push ups, rows. Obviously, though you may say, oh my gosh, deadlifts, I can't do deadlifts. There are certain movement patterns that maybe are contraindicating to how you can exercise. But there's other ways. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. So don't be afraid of those words. Just got to get focused on big movement patterns. Stay away from those knee extensions. Everyone loves the knee extension machine. Stay away from doing curls and triceps. Let's be efficient in the time that we spend exercising. Let's make sure we're using progressive overload. You're not building strength if you're lifting the same weight for the same reps week after week. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, your body gets bored physically and mentally. You need to challenge your muscles. That means lift heavier weights, add more reps, or increase time under tension. You've got to switch it up every 3 to 6 workouts. So about once a month, you need to switch it up. If not, everything gets bored. And I'm not saying you're wasting your time, but you're certainly not being as efficient as you could be. Now, we need to strength train at least 2 to 4 times a week. Studies show that even 2 sessions a week of resistance training can significantly reduce your risk of injury and disease. Generally, for optimal results, aim for 3 to 4 times a week. But what the research does show that if you're over 50, you really need to only aim for twice a week. You're not going to get the same benefits out of going a third day. And quite honestly, you probably don't have time, and you may need the time for recovery. So I would just aim for twice a week if you're over 50. You want to keep the rep range between 15 to 12 reps. Pardon me, 5 to 12 reps, maybe 15 reps. Lower reps, 5 to 8 to build pure strength. And higher reps, meaning 8 to 12, maybe 8 to 15 to build muscle and endurance. You want to try to avoid excessive high rep sets. These create unnecessary joint stress and without significant strength gains. If you're going to do some high rep work, you still need to make sure that you're getting the muscle tired. That's a key with whatever repetition range you're working at. Make sure you're getting the muscle tired. Now, you might be afraid to do 5 or 6 repetitions or 8 repetitions. I would hold off on that until you've been training for a while. Make sure that your body's prepared for it. If you're working with a professional that knows what they're doing, they can get you down to that 5 to 8 repetition range safely if they're training you correctly. Always make sure that we're training explosively. As we age, we've said it many times, we lose muscle, we lose power, we lose fast twitch muscle fibers. We lose that more than we lose strength. That means your ability to react, move quickly, and generate force declines. Medicine ball throws, kettlebell swings, box jumps. Even if you can't jump, there's some things that we can do for the lower body that can keep those fast twitch muscle fibers firing. I actually notice this every day when I go to lacrosse tracks and I train the girls, and we do some plyometric work. We do some jumps. We do some hops, meaning a single leg jump. And they really outperform me because I, over age, even though I've trained, have lost some fast twitch muscle fibers. Nowhere near can do what I used to do. So even with my self-training, I've had a decline. So if you're not training, you really need to jump onto this. Fast twitch muscle fibers. You need to do some power explosive training. So bottom line, if you're not lifting, you're declining. Strength is the currency is currently the currency of aging well. So that's the money. That's where the money is. It's in strength training. So let's talk a little about cardio and why more isn't always better here. I always say more isn't better. Most people either do too much cardio or not enough. The chronic cardio folks think that running for hours is the key to fitness. It's really not. And meanwhile, others avoid it entirely. Think of lifting is all they need. But you do need to do some cardio. The truth is somewhat in the middle. If you're doing more than 25 hours or 25 miles a week in cardio, you're probably doing more than you really need to do. That's a lot of time, 25 miles. If you're out there running 25 miles a week, I don't even know anybody I know young kids running 25 miles a week. Maybe some older guys do, but you don't need to do that. You're not getting any more fitter. That's for sure. So there's two keys, the types of cardio that actually move the needle for longevity. One is just type 2 zone training. They call it the longevity sweet spot. This is low intensity, steady state cardio. Think of a brisk walk, cycling, maybe rowing, easy jogging, anything that keeps your heart rate at about 60 to 70 of your heart rate max. So it's not super intense. It's getting some activity in. So why is zone 2 so important? It improves your metabolic health, your energy powerhouse. Pardon me. It improves your mitochondrial health, which is your energy powerhouse. It will increase your fat metabolism. Great for body composition, right? It supports cardiovascular function without excessive wear and tear on your body. How much you should do? Aim for 3 to 5 days a week, 30, 60 minutes a session. We're talking about 150 minutes a week is what the CDC recommends. But we also need to think about some high intensity interval training. This is where you go all out for short bursts and then you recover. Think of sprinting, or maybe you're doing a rowing interval, or you're on an assault bike, where you're working hard and then you're resting. It's important to work hard, and the rest is real important. Why do we want to do this? Why do we do it safely? You don't have to do any running stuff like that. You can just use ropes or medicine ball slams or any kind of activity that's going to get your heart rate up quickly, and then you're going to rest. You can go up the stairs in your house if that gets your heart rate up, but make sure we rest. So it's an interval. What does this do? It boosts cardiovascular fitness. It burns fat efficiently and improves insulin sensitivity. Let's stay away from type 2 diabetes. How often do we need to do this? 1 to 2 sessions a week is plenty. Overdoing HIIT leads to burnout and possible injury. So don't just run on a treadmill for an hour. Balance steady state work with smart, intense efforts. That'll be the key to your cardiovascular program for longevity. But then let's take a look at mobility. It's the key to injury prevention. It's not just flexibility. We'll talk about mobility. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Mobility is strength's best friend. You can squat heavy, deadlift like a beast, and sprint fast. But if your joints aren't mobile, you're Taft and others emphasize daily mobility work to keep the body functioning properly. Make sure we're doing a joint-friendly workup. Start with 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic stretching and activation drills before lifting. So it's not just getting on a bike for 5 minutes and then go lift some weights or doing a few light sets. Let's do some dynamic stretching and activate the body to get it ready, similar to what we do in our warm-up ramp, range of motion, muscle activation, movement prep. Make sure we're doing some foot and ankle work, strong mobility feet. They need to be mobile, equals better balance and injury prevention. So we might even try some barefoot training. And for sure, do some calf mobility drills. Really important to help you move better as we get older. Want to make sure we keep the hips and the shoulder mobile. There are two key areas that tighten up as we age. So do some hip openers, some shoulder circles, some thoracic rotations daily. We do this stuff all the time in every single workout. Training longevity equals strength plus mobility. You need both. But equally as important is recovery. Train smart, not just hard. Recovery isn't an option. It's where the magic happens. They've done extensive research, and someone who's talked about it often is Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Sauna use, cold exposure, sleep. We may have heard of these things before. We've talked about them. The evidence is clear. Sauna therapy, regular sauna therapy, 4 times a week for about 20 minutes. This would be in a traditional sauna, not an infrared sauna, reduces cardiovascular disease and improves endurance. I saved my paintings up, bought a sauna. I try to get in there 4 times a week, especially after my workouts. You got some cold exposure, something that I do not care for, but it's great for reducing inflammation. But don't jump into an ice bath right after lifting. It can blunt the muscle adaptations. Many people will do some type of heat therapy like a sauna, and then they'll do some cold therapy, and they'll go back and forth like that, really shaking the body up, shooting those Saturns out to try to protect the body. I'll go jump in the shower, cold shower. That's as much cold as I like. I am not going to worry about reducing inflammation with an ice bath. Not in my agenda. And of course, sleep. We hear about it all the time. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you're not recovering properly. Prioritize it like your training. And there's one other thing that people don't think about. It's called active recovery. It's another key component. Walk, do yoga, spend time in the pool on rest days. But just keep moving. Don't just lay around on your recovery day. Get up and move a little bit. Get some motion in. Motion is lotion. We say that all the time. So my final thoughts here. Train for life, not just for now. Here's the takeaways. Training for longevity is about being smart, consistent, and adaptable. So we're going to talk about strength training 2 to 4 times a week. If we're around 50 years old and older, we're going to look at it twice a week. We're going to mix up our cardiovascular work, our energy system training. We'll do some zone 2 work with more steady state. Just go out there and get the heart rate up a little bit. And we're going to try to put in some high intensity interval training. We're going to prioritize mobility and our joint health. We're going to try to recover like athletes do. So we're going to do some sleep, maybe get into a sauna, do some active recovery. And always keep in mind to adjust your training with age. Keep moving, keep challenging yourself, but train smart, because it seems to be a little bit easier to get injured as we get older, and it certainly takes longer to recover. Always when we train, safety is number 1 and safety is number 2. Very, very important. Find a professional that knows what they're doing. If you can't find one in your area, get a hold of me. With today's technology, I can give you a hand anywhere, anytime, because this is so important for your health span. Not just a little longer, but to be able to enjoy those years. So that's it, folks. Train for life. Stay strong. Move well. Keep pushing forward. If this episode helped you, do me a favor and subscribe. Leave a review. Share it with someone you might know who might need some of this information. And until next time, stay strong, stay resilient. Keep living life on your terms. And I'll be back with more information on how to get fit, feel younger, live better next Tuesday. Have a great day.